Welcome back. This is a special trading session wherein the session 2 that is taking place from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. and so far so good for the equity markets that are holding out quite comfortably in the green. A lot of the large caps as well are active and doing the heavy lifting. But let's move right on then and put the spotlight in particular on L&T Defense. Arun Ramchandani is Executive VP and Head Defense at Larsen Toubro, now joining in. Thank you for taking time on, Mr. Ramchandani. The company has bagged a record contract for the high power from the government. Can you give us a sense as to how different this order is from the ones that you have been supplying in terms of the regular orders? Will the margin profile as well differ?
So, a sensor of this complexity we are supplying for the first time, and it is certainly a piece of high-tech equipment. It is what is called, a multi-function phased array radar, and it uses the beam steering technology, phased array beam steering technology. So it's quite an advanced piece of equipment. It's capable of very high performance, and certainly it is it would have margins which are commensurate with equipment of this degree of sophistication.
Okay, that point is taken, but of late we have seen the Defense Ministry has inked this 40,000 crore order where L&T has also managed to get a huge chunk. Can you talk to us about what market share are you expecting to get within that entire pipeline which is there? Because a lot of players have actually come in. And do you believe you have the enough capacity and capability to fulfill these orders, or would you be looking at adding some capacity for it?
So we talked about signing two major contracts, and we will get into execution mode for both these contracts now. The delivery schedule for both these contracts is around 5 years, and we will begin the initial deliveries in 2 years from now. We intend to deploy our major work centers into building of these systems. Uh, there are two contracts which will get into execution mode. One, the close-in weapon system, which has radars, it has guns, it has electro-optical systems, it has communication equipment, and of course the radar projects. We will exploit our work centers at Talegaon, Hazira, Coimbatore, and Bangalore for delivery of these systems. We have a well-established supply chain which will be working on these programs. And I think with the available capacities at our work centers and with our supply chain, including a large number of MSMEs, we are well geared up to deliver these on time and as planned. There will be minor augmentation of special facilities within our work centers, which we will anyway do in the course of the execution.
Right. Mr. Ramchandani, on the indigenization front, where clearly the government has been focusing on since the last few years, help us understand what kind of opportunities does it open up for L&T in the years to come?
So we see growth in the defense sector. Today, the defense business is a small part of the company scale. And while we are seeing good growth in the defense segment, the broad, distribution between EPC projects, the services business, and the advanced manufacturing would remain broadly in that ratio, with growth in all of these segments. For defense, we are very buoyant, and we do see good, healthy growth in our order books in defense by the end of this year and by the end of the next financial year.
Now, when it comes to the export front, what kind of opportunities are you seeing for India becoming an export hub and not just for Make in India?
So, the numbers speak for themselves. There's been significant increase in defense exports over the last few years, and year on year we are seeing growth. That said, defense exports is a complex segment. There are, geopolitical considerations in exports, and it does take time to create stable markets. But there are a lot of interest today from many countries in Indian developed equipment and systems and larger solutions. So all of this bodes well for growth of exports. And I think if the momentum is created, then the demand would increase, and we should see large growth in the exports. Like I said, it's a complex market, and we have to see how things pan out in the coming few years. But overall, the signals are very positive, and I do believe that there's good potential for growth of defense exports.
Okay, watching out for that export growth as well. But you talked about a lot of factors which are actually positive, whether in terms of the policy action plus the recent order inflow. What could potentially derail this story? What are the risk factors on the anvil for the defense sector?
So, if you ask about the risks, of course, like I told you that there are a large number of programs in the pipeline, and totaling up to about 4 lakh crores, which can get uh, inducted or can get released in the times to come. The important thing is that these are released at a good rate, and the conversion from an acceptance to necessity to a contract, these cycle times are shortened, that there are good progress on these orders. And I think if that is sustained, the industry will be in a good position to deliver well, to create capacities, and to utilize those capacities effectively.
Sure. Mr. Ramchandani, great to have you today on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us.